retired people, the retired people. Those are under the arresting elderly citizens care. They get 50,000 people, percent of 60,000, 5,600. Now the number is almost is about 13,000 so far, and that is still growing because it's a program that is going on. And in addition to developing what Dr. Samuel is running, the Senator Olurani Senior Citizen Center, as we did the medical city project area. There are several things that have happened in the state infrastructurally. You look at roads, we have on record now over 1,300 kilometers of roads in this administration, and 41 bridges, including the ones inherited from previous administrations, where we were what we call the social anointing. So nothing should be left as long as government invested the people's money in it while abandoning. And that is what is doing with all of this. From the educational standpoint, the educational part, of course, at the basement level, but primary and so on, government is doing 31 model primary schools. What's the difference? One could say, what is including primary school? What should be the difference of state government? We needed to do those models as an example. Completely rebuilt, we completely new, well-built school, including teachers' quarters. What we used to know when we were growing up, we have teachers, head teachers, and so on, living inside the schools in safe and gated community with solar power, playground, and all of that. The private thing is an example that's replicated in all 31 local government areas. Outside of what's happening at the secondary and tertiary levels, folks can confirm that a lot of investment in making education a good goal for all. That's in addition to funding the free and compulsory education program of the state government. That's going on. So children have access to education. There are no reason not to go to school. Absolutely no reason, except maybe who doesn't want to. But for the state, it's a compulsory item under the Child Rights. Ditto for healthcare. Healthcare intervention is huge. Healthcare intervention is huge. But as we're even talking of education, Prof, I forgot to mention that the new University of Education is coming out of the old College of Education as answers. And the law has been signed, the bill has been signed into law, and of course, the governing council is about being appointed to raise the status of that college to the university so we can have our teachers properly trained. We can go on and on and on. If you look at move the slide, there's so much happening. I will leave this so that you see some of the things going on. So, in terms of general accomplishment, there are so many there that you can look at, and so on and so forth. So we will just go through some of the priority projects. But I think if I run through that quick table, healthcare is also receiving big attention. There's so much happening in the healthcare sector. Apart from building the 31 modern healthcare centers in all 31 local government areas, the healthcare insurance scheme that His Excellency the Governor started a year and a half ago has been met today over 240,000 enrollees already in the health insurance scheme. And under that scheme, all children 0 to 5 free, pregnant women free, retired people 60 and above free. And what's the cap on your healthcare? 80,000 a year. It comes to nothing, not even enough for lunch anywhere. But that's what the government also subsidized. So healthcare, access to healthcare is there. And then the number of people visit to hospital has increased by probably 400% so far because of the access to healthcare that the health insurance scheme has created. And of course, the ambulance scheme has established the 30 minutes and so on. The rescue time for emergencies has been lowered and shortened now in the state, and that's really working. There's a lot of work going on in ecological development or management. Agriculture itself is a key component of the Arise agenda. the model farms that we are working in collaboration with the Bible State University right now. There's an integrated farm scheme sitting on 50 hectares of land already fenced in with farm aspect and non-farm aspect going on there now. And of course, that is also like a farm resort because it's a hotel in the resort. There's a conference center, there's the actual farm, there's the teaching area, and everything inside of that farm you see will be with the demonstration farm, and that will be replicated in the three senatorial districts, and then local government are encouraged to also develop smaller further farms. So you can put this idea. Tourism is a big area for the administration. It's a big area for the administration. And don't forget, it's absolutely the governor himself is a tourism practitioner, so you don't expect that it will not make a mark in that direction. So far as we speak, the audacious Alliance Farm Resort, and I'm happy that AKISAN Convention is coming to you next year. It will have been opened in September by the grace of God by Mr. President. It's the 73 hectares of gold on the spread around the back of Brook Street to Richmond and all of that area. That's 73 hectares of the spread was totally clear. And then the government answered to himself. So when you spend these billions of naira claiming this or so, you just reclaim it and then insist there. What do? We turn it to a huge tourism asset. So inside of that asset, when you shoot the pictures, you will see it is bundled there, it's golf, a nighttime golf course, a lazy river, floating bar, lounges, restaurant, sporting area, student playground, a convention center. Inside of that place, then there's an upcoming hotel inside of that place, and then of course well-appointed apartment with a 3-bedroom apartment for guests and 2-bedroom apartments, all inside of that place. That will be commissioned in September. It's ready for commissioning. Mr. President, by the grace of God, will put his presidential signature to open that facility. And of course, the 5,000 capacity convention center at the old Tropicana side and the 200-bed International Hotel also coming up in that place. So there's just so much happening. There are shopping city all coming on from that old Tropicana complex. And outside of that, also rehabilitating the hotels and golf resort. If you notice in your online, I just issued an announcement shutting down the hotels and golf resort. So we start from August 22nd. The hotel will be shut down to enable the renovation go on very quickly. And because the idea is closing part and not closing at the point it will get very dust. So the government decided to shut it down. And then of course the new facility managers are let go out of the vibe in engage. So we're consolidating all of the home hotels into one brand, all the hotels. The golf resort, the new International at the Tropicana area, the 4 Point at the facilities at the Rice Palm Resort, all of them are coming under the hospitality brand. It's already been incorporated, and of course, everyone working there will work under the hotels and hospitality brand, so you can be posted to any division at all in the state. So while giving the dependency of the renovation of the hotels and golf resorts, the golf parks will still be open, but of course, don't stop guests from being abstracted, but they will only be moved to the adjoining properties where they sold the site, either to 4 Point or to the resort, or the one in the city when you love it. That's how it's going. Let me take you very quickly, can you switch upwards to some of the audacious projects in pictorial renderings so you can have an idea. Move on with me. Quickly, keep going, keep going. Now hold it there. That is the palm resort. The image you see to the left of them, that's the apartment. That is just apartment. That's ready. And then of course you can see all of the that's the golf course. Then you can see the floating bars and the lazy rivers, all of the next slide. That's all part of the resort. You can see the children's play area, the lounge, and the lounges and restaurant, the clubhouse and all that there. That's the sporting area within that resort. We move on. This is the experience center that's going on. It's not finished yet, but that's what it will be like. Move on. And of course, this is the airport as it is now. The International Airport, the new terminal building. Move on. Of course, the runways and the completed second taxiway. And that project has been lingering over, but it's totally completed now with aerodrome lighting. Move on. Because the MRO is the next picture. That's almost at 90%. Part of the discussion we're having with Airbus. We're meeting with Airbus on the 13th in my shop on this, because managing the MRO is a very critical aspect. Move on. Now, there's something that's going on. I'm not sure a lot of people know about it. We've been talking about the urban maritime infrastructure. The entirety of the maritime corridor within the Oron River, it's been rehabilitated totally. The shoreline protection, the entire shoreline protection. If you see the edge of that water, there's huge shoreline protection that runs several meters in, about up to about a kilometer or two, all the way, that protects that shoreline. And then there are jetties, four jetties, passenger jetty, the tourism jetty, the jetty and the security jetty, all lining on there. And within that terminal building and the sub jetty, there is also the drying chamber for our fishermen and all of them, that the people will not come from somewhere and come and just give them money and take all their buy their clothes for 6 months. So they will be able to dry their clothes right there in a facility that will be managed effectively, and then they also have the cooling facility all within it, the chillers and the drying cabinets. So there are fishermen and women from the other area, when they come out of the water, they will not be looking for how to dry or make their clothes and so on. And it doesn't just end there. Outside of the shoreline protection terminal building, we also have 2 ferries already. They are coming in. One is totally completed. The second one is at about 85%. And then the Nigerian Navy dockyards and Marine, one in Lagos, one in Port Harcourt, they are coming in. That's restoring the maritime transportation between Oron and Calabar. Totally, and those ferries are acquired, booked and acquired by government of Akwa Ibom State. This will be a precursor to the main Ibom Beach State Port initiative. Instead, you don't just have to wait. Let something begin in the blue economy development. Move on. I was talking about the convention center. That's what the model to the left is what it will look like, but that's the actual state of construction. It has left to that point because I think this picture was at the end of July, and that's when we have the convention center. By the grace of God, this convention center will be delivered this year. They're actually installing the internal air conditioning, electrical, M&E, and so on and so forth. Move on. That is the hotel, if you remember. If you see Ibom International Hotel, so that's the one in the Capitana complex. Getting ready, that's the inside. All the rooms and so on are getting ready for habitation. So nothing to worry about where to stay when you come for the convention, and by the grace of God, we will have enough facilities. Move on. I talked about the model farm. That's the farm there. That's the access way. What you have to the left is the model. That's the actual construction. It has gone past that level. Move on. It has gone past that level because the buildings and the houses all gone past. Oh, I was talking about ecological remediation earlier. Now, this is where that resort. This is what it was. This is exactly what it was. Gully. In fact, there is a woman that we met the last year. The husband died. He was a village head. He died at the resort of this gully. He saw his house fall. He saw it going down. The man just let the day wake up. And when His Excellency went to visit the place, he said to them, well, you know what? And then you have to move. He got them out, he got them a new place, sent the child that was the daughter that was on scholarship to the United Kingdom, and then we built a new house for them, and then applied all of this into what you have as the Arise Farm Resort. Move on. This is the governor's office annex. What they call annex, there's the old annex that used to be on Barracks Road to the left. That will be brought down. So this is a new one that's coming up right next to the Palm Resort, right on Brooks. You will see so many things are happening around that place next. We have now, for those of you who are needing housing, very soon the bid for these houses will be thrown open to purchase them with luxury estate. This is sitting on Oran Street. This is sitting on Oran Street. It's almost totally completed. The demonstration houses that you could see already. So very soon, the estate company handling this will be announcing and putting this in the market for those who will be interested in luxury living. Now, let me talk about this housing stuff. A lot of people may not understand because, as I mentioned this, in the thing, this is all because right now, what we have in stock is 1,048 houses in 3 years. And in that 1,048, we have 75% of social housing. 75% of social housing. 20% of institutional housing, and about less than 5% of luxury housing. And then institutional housing, of course, social housing I talked about, the compassionate homes, talked about the ones that were given to civil servants level 1 to 7, 3, 175 units at Grace Estate. It was an open ballot, and government said these people cannot afford housing, so they will get it at no cost. Two-bedroom flats, some 3, and the ballot of 50, whoever picked the home, because it was in an open, transparent ceremony. And 150 in the social side access the 3 homes that they own, just off the road, and additional 25 was added. Then, if you add that to the 500 plan of 461 done, and then the institutional housing is the judiciary quarters, the House of Assembly, school quarters, and those are institutional housing. They don't belong to anybody. And you can only be a tenant there for the time that you have opportunity of service, and of course, the luxury one that's coming out there, and the new one that will come at the back of the government house, which will be the new GRA that's coming at the back. Following the reclamation of Uyo Village Road, the member representing Uyo, I think I saw him somewhere, we can speak on that. The entirety of the old Uyo Village Road has been totally reclaimed, rebuilt with bridges coming out, and then about 150 hectares have been reclaimed from that dump site. And that will have a linked bridge that comes from the old Uyo Village at the back of government house that links this the resort. So it's going to be at the same academy will come up at that place. So if you get to Uyo Village Road, you won't know what it is anymore. Because it's a dual road from Italian all the way and comes out on Barracks Road, dual road with bridges, and so already built. Amitech is doing that project. Remember, we can confirm this. Move on. This is where Dr. Itaman sits and presides over what they do there. That's the Senator Williams Senior Citizen Center. They're doing a good job. Our senior citizens are having a good time in that location, and more will come up. This is the demonstration. We expect that there will be once the other senatorial districts will come up, and the local government are also encouraged to develop along this model. Move on. I talked about the remodeling of hotels and golf resorts. That's what we call that the demo, some of the demo rooms. So move on. I mentioned that Arise shopping city and so on. So many things to go on. Move on. This is the average equipment leasing facility. But the thinking of the government, how do you drive agriculture, mechanize agriculture if you don't have an equipment leasing facility to help the farmer? So this has been put up, built, equipped, and commissioned already. So our people have access to farming to equipment, tractors, mowers, runners, all of those things that you need in mechanized agriculture, so they can hire them at subsidized rates and be able to mechanize their agriculture instead of just doing the subsistence part. This has already been done at the Kunsuka and commission. Move on. Of the Court of Appeal. Well, the thinking of the governor was to collaborate with the federal government to ensure that we reduce the trouble for our people going to Calabar or Port Harcourt for appeal cases. So we're actually investing and ensuring that we develop a Court of Appeal in the year so that appeal cases and let's have an appellate court that will reduce transportation and stress for our people, because every appeal you have to go to Calabar or you go to Port Harcourt sometimes away. And so that's part of what the government is doing. Move on. It's an industrial park is currently being remodeled. The whole of that is an industrial park behind, but also called the road going towards the old village side behind the park. If you remember, one of the things His Excellency did in 2023 late, and it was to revoke the holding of the entire Itan industrial park. And that is now being remodeled now to enable work, real industrial activity for those who have capacity to commence. Move. Let's move very quickly. This is the judiciary village I talked about, and this is now in health. The 350-bed Ibom International Hospital, which sits within the Ibom Medical City and Medical Corridor. The medical corridor begins from the old specialist hospital that was built by the administration of Padre Senate President, and extends all the way to Corridor. So that whole stretch in the medical corridor. There are so many things lined up, pharmaceutical facilities, laboratories, and all of those. So that whole communication is the medical corridor that runs through. So this hospital is a 350-bed international hospital with about 20 specialized departments. Construction work has gone very, very far in this facility, and it forms part of the medical initiative that will have various medical movements within there, including accommodation, recovery centers, and so on and so forth. Move on. Now, key to the administration is youth development. And in thinking of His Excellency the Governor and in line with the ARISE agenda, he decided to develop what is called the Youth Development Center in all 31 local government areas. The sample one was first commissioned in Oro, and as we speak, the youth training program has started already. The intention is to get at least 31,000 youths every year equipped and empowered at 1,000 for local government. All center have started in about 5 more will be commissioned in the coming months, and all 31 will be ready. And what was the model? The first was local government was provide land. So the first set of 15 local government that provided land, their own went up immediately. The second set that came late because their own will follow, and that's going on. So it's fully equipped. It has ICT center, creative center, restaurant, and whatever facility as you can see. It's right inside there, library, e-library, and so on and so forth. They hope to have where the youths can get together, think together, have access to internet, have access to instructional material, the library, and so on and so forth. Move on. Well, those are Channel Roads. Move on. Yeah, House of Assembly currently being rehabilitated. Move on. This is one of the forward-looking projects of the administration. The hotels and apartments in Abuja. One may ask, why Abuja, why Lagos? The reason is because these are assets that already belong to the state. They are moribund assets, actually the old Nigerian office that sits in the central area by Ministry of Finance and Lagos House. And unknown to us, until the administration came, all these assets we didn't even know we didn't own them because we have not perfected the title, including the one in Lagos. The title was still in the names of those who had them before. So it's only a few months ago. But why this project did not start? But because we needed to get through the title perfection and turn it to the property of our and state government. As we were sitting there, we didn't own anything. Because those responsible perhaps in the Ministry of Land and housing at that time did not follow up to perfect the title. You will see in the names of some people that the government bought them for, including the one of the Shapaboy School in Victoria Island. You don't have to sit down and go through that. It's several millions of naira on land rent agreed for all those years backlog to now have access and gain back this asset. And now said, what do we do? If you allow this sitting there, they will go after the particular now that FCC is going after land. Anywhere that is open, I don't need to mention names, you know what I'm talking about. So this asset will soon come up in Abuja, just like the one in Lagos, where His Excellency visited on Friday to see the extent of what is a two-story commercial building. Because anything you have in Victoria Island, anybody who knows Lagos knows what that is. It's a cash card. Move on. Yeah, for public transportation, outside of the roads, aviation window, and so what of the land? Yes, you may have good roads, you may have all of them. How do you move the people? So the CNG bus mass transportation initiative is on right now. We started with the development of the terminal, which is on at just after the National Valley International Stadium, heading towards the road. You will see huge facility there coming on. And of course, to make this ready, buses have already been ordered. 50 units of them. We have 30 already. Then the other 10 should come in this week, Sunday. That will be 40. And by the end, by next month, the last 10 will come in from Turkey. That will be the first 50 that will reduce the route of all 31 local government areas for a start, while the government will be getting more. So those are the buses only, those are the factory in the Suzu factory in Turkey. Move on. That was the pre-shipment inspection. Of course, the arrival of the buses, they are sitting there at the parking lot of the government house, just waiting to be moved to the terminal. And that's the construction of the terminal that goes together with the training facility for drivers. There's a training school for drivers, automated car wash, training school for car wash operators, and all of that. That's going on at the right now. Well, I talked about the aviation village. That's right now here at the airport. Is phase one of its development. Phase one has the 100 units of housing and internal roads, dual carrying internal roads. From once you come out of the airport gate is to the right. And the idea was to ensure that aviation people working in the aviation industry have access to housing, so they are not coming too far from Ogun every day. I know what it cost me in the ministry to freight our information officers and those who man our desk at the airport on a monthly basis to go to work and back whenever they're not able to meet the airport bus. So we decided there should be an aviation unit. The first 100 units, which president will be commissioning this. That's alongside the airport hospital, I forgot to mention that. And so, and then all those customs people, when we wanted to do international, customs, immigration, all of them, where will they stay? They need to provide this so that they will have the need or see the need to come and operate from Uyo, and this open the first quickly. Do I do very quickly? Move. Actually, as I mentioned, it's already still approved. This is the new IBC. Hold on, go back. The back. Yeah. So we're currently renewing what you used to know as AKISAN. This is exactly what we will be sitting on Broad Street. Construction will started. The studio aspect is totally, that's totally been ordered. So that's going to be a completely new thing that will compete with any station anywhere. That's what we're trying to do there. Excellency has promised during this campaign that we will renew that facility, and is doing that. Move very quickly. This is the new hospital at the airport. I've mentioned that already. That's ready for commissioning. Move. Yeah. Hold on. The medical city, I've talked about that already. That's the access. And so already built with the medical residences. Move. We call it an international market project that's going on. And earlier today, somebody came to talk to me about his property being affected by this market and so on. And I said, no problem. It's for development. Sure, compensation will be paid. Move on. That is part of the Abuja aspect. Move on. The Bob Towers in Lagos. We've gone further than this point because They were at the what do they call it? You know, the pilot. That's what people call it. They were doing the piles about 268 piles, and I will carry that tower. So I think they are now for the godfather and that from what we saw on Friday. Move on. There is a sports academy in Ekek that has just started. The fencing work and the construction has started in Ekek. Move on. Also, the local government challenge department, all 31, the idea that they must stay in the local government. That's not children should not be living in you. They should stay where they work. Move. The NYC orientation can move on. The police CT initially here, part of security, move on. The general hospital, move on. This is on local government bridges, the state of commissioners quarters, that's the institutional housing I talked about. Move on. Move on. Secondary school. This is the compassionate home initiative, for instance. See what you're looking at there. That's the kind of place people are living in. Those are the beneficiaries of this new apartment. And 461 so far. It's a very positive thing for everybody. And if the selection is void of any political consideration, nobody doing that is in the position. If you want to go and go and contribute as your own investment. And a lot of people have emulated effectively the government, including councillors and ward PAs. They've contributed and built at the compassionate homes, and we're going by what the government has done here. Sometimes they receive them themselves. They sit down and get a picture, and then they will independently ask them to go and check if that is true. And it goes through that kind of nomination. You see that these are people who deserve this. And so I personally want to also contribute to compassionate job. So many people have done that, and I think it's something really, really good. Move on. Quickly, so we can round up. Are we good? Then look at all this quickly. Okay, these ones you can go through the moment. So these are local government by local government. I said, move on, I'll show you something. This is the only administration that has invested in human capital more than any. I know what I'm saying. 369 wards. This is a government appointed ward PAs. PAs to the government in all the wards. And they become his representative in every ward. And they are political appointees with good salary in every ward. If you go through the totality of that, about 750 or 760 appointees by one government. Very huge. And when you flip quickly, let me just show you something as I close. Just flip. I've gone through all this. Flip. This is a local government by local government. When you take the stand, flip. And taking it to something very quickly. Go on. So in each local government, you see the number of political appointees, you see the number of appointments, you see the number of projects per local government. That's how we've done this. Take for instance, hold on, just go back. Take for instance, this is like a local government. Okay, this for instance is Tinubu. Tinubu local government, you can see 18 appointees. Yeah. 18 appointees, 22 projects. Move on. I'm not, Mr. President, I'm aware of your time. I'm wrapping up. Thank you. Keep going. I'm taking you to something. Keep going. Just keep going. Okay, if you, I can take it from here if you can. Just keep going. It's I was about talking about the human capital impact index, and I had mentioned earlier the gratuity part, which I said 90.45 billion, they reduced from the 111 billion. I just wanted to look at the numbers, and then in education alone, 6.8 billion has been paid for on examination fees alone to children of Akwa Ibom. 6.8 billion. So far for WAEC, NAPTEP, and all of those exam fees. And then about 36,100 additional pupils enrollment as a result of this new conformal school, and so on. Then the total of 1.69 billion has been paid on bursary. The government has increased bursary from 20,000 to 50, and recently released 1.69 billion, and that has gone in that direction. And 1,079,396 beneficiaries have so far accessed this fund. So, and there's been a lot of increase in terms of food distribution. 867,000 households have already benefited in Akwa State from this basic food distribution to the vulnerable. We don't want to take you through this because the federal benchmark was 600,000. In phase 4, in 1 year plus, we've done 867,000. And of course, I mentioned the compassionate loans. Those 500,000 small capital seed is already standing at 230.5 million naira. And then there is a 31 billion empowerment fund that was approved in the Executive Council 2 weeks ago. It will go 1 billion for local government. And that will go to women cooperatives, organized women cooperatives. And we have them already, they've organized themselves to like 300 per ward. And they will have access to this money when used in a cooperative fund, and then local transporters in cooperative fund. The 31 billion is going in that direction. So much of all of that, I just thought I'd share some of this to you. We'll drop the QR code so that you'll see health insurance 258,484 as last week, as at the 5th of August. And then, of course, 2,000 plus youth trained at the Bomlen, 750,000, and 2,186 from DASAC so far. And then 63,000 private sector jobs created, then 310 billion in SME funds, then 30,000 as accessible grants of 50,000 naira, and so on and so forth. So we can go on and on. You can put up the QR code so people can download this and be able to look at this in details. I want to thank you, Mr. President, and all our brothers and sisters for listening to us. And we have a lot more we can talk about, but of course, time will not let us. Please put up the QR code so people can download this presentation and be able to study this and understand what is happening in the state. This is a product of a forward-thinking government. His Excellency Pastor Umar Basi, PH, Governor of Okada. Thank you for listening to me. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Coach. Because of time constraint, the people that do this, put up the QR code.
Yes.
The QR code, please. I will let Honorable Sir Michael Asquam handle this. Because of time constraint, we will take very few questions. If you have any other questions, pass it to the protocol extraordinary. One. It's great to pass that to me. So, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, the highest officer. Good evening, everyone. I know a lot of you have questions. Yeah, I can see hands up, down. I just want to give some housekeeping rules. First, you must have this stand, and you must raise your hand with this stand before you will be recognized. This is a convention, and for you to have the right to speak, you must have registered for the convention. Secondly, if I give you the mic, please start with your name and which state you're in the US you're from. If you're from Nigeria, please keep the question until when the government have their Sunday service in Akwa Lodge. Yeah, so I'm going to do equal opportunity, one male, one female. You have 1 minute. I'm going to time you. You have 1 minute, and I'll take the mic from you. Physically, I know you cannot drive, so please stick to the 1 minute. And also, yeah, if your question seems to sound like something we've heard before, we don't want to get bored. I will collect the mic from you as well. If your question is denigrating or Sound offensive, I will take the mic from you. So we are all mature adults. So please, let's act like one. This thing is shown everywhere, so we need to act like one. I'll start with this lady. Introduce your name, where you came from, your question, 1 minute. Don't address him as anything, just go straight to the question.
My name is Unume Ekanem. I'm from a very corridor Ghana. And my question is, I happen to be the one that is chosen for the family. And the last time, many years ago when I visited my family, I just knew that they needed to have homes. And I just something was just not right. So my question then is it possible for an individual that has a vision for a family, they want children to bless their family, to partner with the Arise initiative to build homes?
Yes.
Please. And how do I do that, sir?
Yes, I said so.
The second part is how does she go about it?
Well, it's purely your initiative. You want the plan, we'll give you the plan and the design. Straight on. There's an office humanitarian, Ministry of Humanitarian and the humanitarian office in the government, a unit in the governor's office. We can hand you the plan. Yeah. At no cost.
Okay, so you can meet it after this for a follow. I will go to the second person. What minute is email system?
Thank you. My name is Chief James Kinnan.
Oh,
I'm from Accra,
asking me about the last show.
Mr. Commissioner, thank you again. I've listened to you said about the 30 projects that's gonna be launched and the commission. If you remember, 39, Joyce. If you remember, you and I have talked about this project of the beautification of your business district. And you had told me that there will be a committee set up to follow up. So I wanted to follow up with you as to the progress, the status progress of what is done. Because if you know, back in 1976, the indigents, the businessmen in Europe had sacrificed the fact that we should take claim. So I think I wanted to follow up with you respect.
Thank you. You want to respond on next? Okay. Madam.
It's 600.
Thank you, sir. My name is Kate Christopher. I'm from Oborokara, Eastern Chapter. Our dear Commission, I just have a couple of questions concerning. I'm very passionate when it comes to healthcare. So I like what the government is doing so far when it comes to the healthcare sector. But my question that I have, and I always ask, is the accessibility of this healthcare system that we set up in place. So I know there's a couple of questions I had, and you mentioned a lot of things about the medical, for example, the emergency ambulance services, and also the healthcare facilities in all local government areas. So my question is, how the people in the world, and how do they access those healthcare? And also the healthcare insurance scheme that you mentioned, I also saw it in the brochure also here. What population are the beneficiary of that healthcare scheme? And what else did I have again? I think that's it. So I think I'm throwing out so many questions, but I'll give you time to answer on them.
Okay,
and for
very
that
quickly.
agriculture, I'm sorry, I have it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, very quickly. Let me take those two very quickly. Or is there one more?
Okay, let me take this gentleman.
One said I will close.
Hello, my name is Engineer Joe Bob. I'm the AKISAN president in Los Angeles. My concern is about three things. Number one, the progress in Igbo deep sea port. I think this concerns me because as a civil engineer, I want to see how we can really make progress regarding that. The next one is the Calabar to Road. The last time I was there, it took us about 3 hours from Calabar to get to you. I want to know if there any progress regarding that. The last one is regarding even beach development. It concerns me because I am from Okoreke. I'm just next door to the Ibadan beach. So we want to see how they can develop it to international level. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let me start development development here. That is the focus of part of the tourism development master plan of the state. You will get there. And you guys are already very lucky to have so many people alive roads coming from Studley and passing Okon. And the free you project going to effect. And when you guys are very fortunate in this government. Calabar Road is a federal road project. And so the state government is pushing and coming. But I understand it's progressing now. It's progressing now, and the journey time is reducing. I think the federal ministry of works, they're doing quite some work progressive. I understand. I'm not using what I'm told to the canal because they're moving forward. We talked about the Beach Seaport Initiative. Yes, that is ongoing, and you know what it takes to do a deep seaport everywhere. So for one state government, there are not too many things you can carry in, because even if you decide to put all your allocation, you cannot do it. That's why government is working very hard to get find the right partner, just like the Lagos state government did. You know, China Harbour owns 66% of the Lagos Beach seaport, and it took them 22 years to achieve it. So sometimes people don't understand the thing, it's fly by night. That process is on. All we're asking our people and stakeholders must continue to give support, because we need to see it happen. And the government is very determined in ensuring our needs is start. We're working the grounds, we're opening the roads to the point, to the site. And of course, there are a lot of engagements going on now, and some of the federal government support and approvals already in place. Somebody talked about agriculture, healthcare, how to access the healthcare. Healthcare access is straightforward. Healthcare bases are made close to the people in all local government areas and transport facilities. When the government declared state of emergency in the health, we had asked that beyond the new healthcare facility, there should be real of existing old ones. Don't forget, this primary health care are actually the responsibility of the local government. So what we're really doing is just to show example as to what they ought to be doing. And that's going on and will continue. People have access because medical enrollment will increase so significantly from the numbers where we had time to take you through. When you download the QR code, you will see the healthcare numbers and enrollment numbers. If you also want maybe a week by week enrollment in the last 3 years, and maybe to contact, I can link you with Dr. Ken. You can send that to you. See the spreadsheet of how healthcare enrollment has been going on. And of course, the healthcare insurance, if you are at the number I mentioned, you can see from 1 to 268,000. That shows progress, and this is just 1 year plus. Healthcare insurance was launched very late in 2024, so in a year, less than 2 years, you have already hit that number and it's improving. Somebody talked about the beautification of Uyo. Uyo is the capital city of our Benue State, and most of these projects are in Uyo, especially if I add to the static value of Uyo, because more road construction. I just talked about Uyo Village Road and all of the new one that's taking place in that place. I talked about the reclamation of gullies, 73 hectares of gullies, and replacing that with an audacious resort. That's the part of it. I talked about what's happening at the Tropicana area and all of the renewal and internal road works within the city and beautification. So what we need now is, as citizens, let us contribute our part, keep our own environment clean. And what else? I think somebody talked about ambulance services. Ambulance services is very efficient, I must say to you. And maybe you sit here and try the number and see if you get a response. You will get a response. But I don't know what you want them to do for you. Yeah, you use it. Good testimony. We appreciate that. The turnaround time is good and it works. I thank you so much. And we take the last step on this side so we can go.
Okay. Please. Okay, let's proceed. 1 minute. Please understand that everybody cannot ask questions in this event. Please just have that in mind.
My name is Matilda Mbawa from Atlanta chapter. My question is about Ibom Air. We understand there is a new Pt.2 airport and flew with that 3 weeks ago coming back. But the question is on the airline. We are suffering coming home and only one line operating in Akwa Ibom. And it's very difficult for you to get a flight if you don't buy it on time or 3 months ahead. It's something that affecting most of us that traveling home. You cannot find a seat to travel with your family. If we can let another airline so that there will be a competition. Thank you very much.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, I'll come back to you. Let me go to the back. BOT Chair.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Honorable Commissioner. My other question also goes on the aviation. When is Ibom Air to sharing with another a foreign airline so that when if you are coming from here, you can land in or Lagos, and because of the good share that we pay here to you with Ibom Air, everything is paid for right here and we get to you and back. And also, going from what she was asking about other airlines competing in the New York airport, so that when we come, if we go to another state, if Ibom Air is still fully booked, we can also jump on another airline to get to a different destination. Thank you.
I'm looking for it. Okay, Lucky.
So my name is Idong and I'm from Pt.2. So my question is, I'm looking forward, what's the sustainability plan after Omoino? And then how do we maintain these facilities? Because of course it's still a lot of money is still in there. How do we prevent vandalism? These are common issues in Nigeria. Thank you.
Nice, I like that. Chief, I will still time you 1 minute.
Okay. Mr. Commissioner, but the point is, all the plans are making take some land. How does the government manage land? Because the story we hear from here is that people from other other parts of the country are buying up of not like how does the government feel about that? Because all the projects I talk about, this land and how much land, how does the government manage that? Thank you very much. Let me take that said, and first starting with land administration is being digitized as we speak because Aqua GIS is coming on stream. That will be commissioned by the rest of as part of what's happening in September. It enable stateless land administration in the state. This was an initiative the government started even when he was a commissioner, and by the grace of God, that's coming together. In terms of sustainability for all of this, I think all of this project, yeah, there's a sustainability plan being put in place. And of course, the asset management agency was established as part of the mechanism of putting sustainability plan for most of these government assets and projects. For instance, take for instance the stadium, the Gospel of God International Stadium. That stadium is created the best, and that is the home of the Super Eagles. The reason is because of the maintenance plan. Because government intends to stay there and maintain that stadium. That is why you can enter the government house, it still looks as if it was built yesterday. Because there is a full maintenance contract. The new airport that has been built, the government announced on the date it was opened and retained the builders of the airport that in the first 2 years, they will not leave that airport. You must stay there and ensure that if anything goes wrong, we take care of it. So they have sustainability plan for all. We agree for them. The Akwa Ibom State University is already taking responsibility to ensure the facility like the model farm, the greenhouses, and so on, will be managed by the university. And it also becomes a training center. So you now have an ongoing plan that allows these things to work. Someone talked about it, co-sharing, and so on and so forth. The local Akwa Ibom State Airport Development or Airport Management or the government of Akwa Ibom has never stopped any commercial airlines from coming to you. Absolutely no. It's a free airport. If anything, we are even inviting more airlines to come. But they have to also be ready to work in Ibom Air standards to ensure that they're timely and they do the right thing, because some do come and leave. Some have come and left because the people didn't have trust. But we're still making that move, even with the international operation. The government has given the new Ministry of Aviation and Airport Development a marching order to ensure that they get international airlines to come in and use that huge facility. There are talks with Ethiopian Airlines, there are talks with Ethiopian, there are talks with some other airlines to see those who will be able to utilize that facility. But for us as an airline that's owned 100% by the state, the idea is as soon as we have these small aircraft coming, and then the ones that went for six checks return, we'll be able to expand routes. And so that is involved. So that's why a new Ministry of Aviation and Airport Development has been set up. So co-sharing and so on. Madam, if you have aviation is a very technical thing, sometimes if you have aircraft and then they go for check at the same time, sometimes it reduces your capacity to move with enough people. And then we also had fearless issues at the point that have affected some schedule. Nothing to worry about, all of those will change. And okay, you talked about preventing people from coming to buy up all of the land. And so that is why we must also maintain and buy our land and not allow people to come in, because it's a free commodity. If you want to sell your land, nobody will stop you from selling your land. The one that you will not sell is maybe the government land. The government has acquired and kept. But if it's your personal land, it's to sell. And there's nothing in it. It's your right to decide who you sell to. But the most important thing is land administration, making it seamless and easy for people who want to process land type application to do so without difficulty. I want to thank you all for your questions. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for coming out and engage with the state. Please, that's the emergency number. Just in case, you can try it if you want, but don't be sure you have an emergency so you don't waste your time. It's right there. There's nothing to hide. It's a transparent government. Everything that His Excellency Pastor Moise has done as the governor is put out there transparently. We have a delivery system that His Excellency the governor introduced in project management. Every month, he sets out 2 days and sits in through those 2 days. Every project of the government is put on the screen, and then you will see the project, you will see the cost, you will see the contractor, you will see the payment level, you will see, and then you have civil society, journalists, stakeholders invited to sit in, and that you were able to monitor and measure progress and delivery and to see to ensure that we meet the timelines. That's the reason why we're succeeding with this thing, because the government is very determined to deliver on the promises of the Alliance agenda. I thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next year. I hope you will come before elections so that you can also vote to re-elect His Excellency Pastor Moise as the second governor of our province.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Commissioner. Before we close, there will be a vote of thanks by the national president and my brother Christian, very fine gentleman, who will end us with a closing prayer.
Just a quick one to say thank you so much, our Commissioner Elena Romana, duly representing His Excellency, the Governor, Pastor Moise, PhD. A lot of great updates that you've shared with the AKISAN community, a lot of great questions, a lot of engagement. There's a couple of things I'd like you to expedite and get those completed that I saw in your comments. The Arise Card resource, hopefully that gets completed. This convention center, 5,000 capacity convention center, Arise Farm. So some of these activities will help us, even the MRO. that I saw, but great remarks. Thank you so much for sharing. And we really shared it on behalf of AKISAN USA. Another quick announcement, obviously this was supposed to start at 2:30 and then at 4:30. We have a little gap before the event tonight, but we are going to try to start that event on time. Doors will open at 6:30 and we'll launch at 7. Dinner will be served 7 to 8:30. So please, let's come out there. It is a fundraising, so bring your wallets or digitally bring your digital activities as well. But thank you so much. Turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Father Ogo, please, may we rise for the closing prayer.
We start in the name of God the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you for all your many blessings. For the blessings on our Bible states, the blessings you've given to AKISAN and to all of us. Thank you for our meeting today. Please continue to inspire us by your holy inspiration, so that all our thoughts, words, and actions may go towards the service of the people in the American states. May your blessing be on our governor and on his administration and all the people of Aquarium State, through the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you.
Entertainment.
I will see you guys in 1 hour. Anyway.